Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And now let me introduce myself. My name is Ibnu Masud. And now in this section, I would like to tell you about the research paper. Okay. Now, the title is Student Error on Constructing the Context. Chapter 1. Introduction. Background of study. The context is a text in which history or past event is described by someone, as it is suited with curriculum itself. The context should be told to 10th grader of high school student. Okay. Reason for choosing the topic. The writer chooses this topic because the contraction of the context is one of the basic of grammar. It can be bigger problem if the student still made some mistake in using constructive recount and carry on to the advanced English subject. And the aim of research in to investigate student mistake of constructing the context. Okay, next is limitation of the problem. To limit the problem, the writer has to limit the first is mistake of orientation, the second is mistake of complication. And research site and participant. The research is conducted at SMA Negeri 1 Pamijahan. The researchers chooses SMA Negeri 1 Pamijahan because some of the students have difficulties in to make some sentence. There is one classes 10 grade that consists 13 students in one of class. The writer take one classes of 10 grade as the sample. The writer divides the sample into two groups, one class as an experimental group and one class as a control group. Research method. In conducting the research, the writer uses true experimental method and use control group pre-test, post-test design. Okay, next is chapter 2, theoretical foundation, error analysis, definition, Brown, Carter analysis. The type of error, first is lexical errors, second is grammar errors, third is discourse errors, next is transfer error, and the next is developmental errors, and the last is semantic error. And the functional of error analysis, this is yes, Norris in Johnny. Okay, next is procedure of error analysis is Brackhuizen, and causes of error is errors. Okay, recontext. Definition of recontext. Recontext was a text that tell the reader to listener what happened in the past through the sequence event, sukma. And tips of recontext. The first is personal recount, second is factual recount, the third is imaginative recount. Okay, chapter 3, research methodology. Research method, through experimental method and use control group pre-test, post-test design is used for this research. The method is used to describe kind of error made by the students in using recount text and the chooses why it happens. And B, research site and participant. This research will be conducted at SMA Negeri 1 Pamijahan that participants are the students from the 10th grade of the school that is mentioned. Provides sampling technique is using by the writer. C. Data collection technique. In collecting the data, the writer uses numerical data and emphasizes the research process on measuring objective result using statistics. The first is pre-test and second treatment, and the last is post-test. D. Data analysis. This data analysis to show student error in constructing recontext by average the value data test value were taken from Arikunto. And this is the data analysis. And thank you for attention. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.